Today's sponsor is Project Pals, an amazing collaborative workspace for students to create and work with projects. Stay tuned at the end of the show to learn more about getting started for free and how I'm using Project Pals in my classroom.
Episode 395, 5 ways to use augmented reality in the classroom.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
So today we're talking with teacher Lindsay Fell from Arkansas, who has a very creative classroom with iPads and does so many things. But today we're going to talk about 5 ways to use augmented reality in the classroom. So Lindsay, what's your first way?
Hi, Vicki. Thank you so much for having me. One way that I have loved using augmented reality in my classroom is allowing my students to communicate beyond the walls of our classroom. One thing we did was we created an interactive art exhibit. We created works of art, and then the students inserted video overlays into that work of art to communicate their school pride. I'm in a school that's a brand new elementary in our school district, so building school pride and community was one of my major goals at the beginning of the school year with the students and faculty. And the students got to share this at a community open house in September that involved administrators and school board members and community members from all over our school district. And we had student media helpers there. And they used the app HP Reveal to scan the artworks. And then when they would scan the artworks, a video overlay would appear where the student's mouth was inserted into the painting and they were talking and speaking and sharing their school pride.
Wow. What was the response?
All of them, most of the visitors, they were surprised, first of all, that was even possible. And then just tons of smiles and laughter because the app that we used is called Funny Movie Maker. And what it allows you to do is take any photo. We used photos of our artwork, but you could take any photo of a historical figure or a politician or whoever, and you actually insert your mouth into the photo. So what the kids did was they took these drawings of our lions. That's our school mascot, the lion. We are the Parkway Lions. And they inserted their mouths into this picture, and then they talked, with their mouth. So then you see this drawing of this lion, but it's got a human mouth and it's talking and it's explaining how they can show their lion pride, it was kind of funny, but it was also, really engaging. And they got to communicate beyond the walls of just one classroom and out into our community. So it was really fun.
What fun. So you used Funny Movie Maker to make the movies, and then you used HP Reveal to import and kind of augmented reality link. That is awesome. Okay, what is our second one?
The second one, I have an incredible librarian here at Parkway Elementary, and she used the iPads to create digitally interactive book talks with her kids. We partnered up, and what she did was she had the kids video themselves giving a book talk on a book that they had recently read and really enjoyed. And they shared, just a short synopsis about the book and why they enjoyed reading it, why they would recommend it to another student. And typically, book talks are done in the classroom, and it's limited to just the students who are present in the room at the time. But what she did with those videos was she augmented reality linked them to the book cover. So now what students can do is take the iPad, open up HP Reveal, and then they can scan a book cover, and the video of a book talk overlays over that book cover, over that image, and the kids can hear about that book that way. So that extends that communication and that collaboration beyond just one moment in time or one class.
Awesome. Now, are they wearing earbuds, or are they just playing this out loud? Or I guess the librarian's cool with the noise.
Yeah, during the time when they shop for books is kind of a noisy time anyway. So she just, I think she's okay with it.
Cool. I love that. Okay, what's our third?
Okay, and then one really really important thing that I think augmented reality can do for you is bring the outside world into your classroom. And one of my favorite apps for that is Jigspace. And what Jigspace does, it allows you to sit down objects into your classroom and manipulate them. So for example, you could sit down Gutenberg's printing press in your classroom, and students can manipulate it and explore it and walk around it and view it in 3D. And this is really, I think, really monumental and really transformative for our learning spaces, because now we're talking about things that students can access that were inconceivable before this moment. Being able to, when I'm teaching, printmaking to my fourth graders, and I was trying to tell them about, how printmaking originated and the history of printmaking, it's one thing to show them an image, but it's another thing for them to get to interact and explore with that content. And I thought that was really powerful.
So they're all seeing the image. Are you interacting with the same image, or they each have their own version of the image?
They have an iPad. I have a class set of iPads. I'm very fortunate. I have a class set of iPads. And what we did was the students took the iPads, and there's a lot of content available in JigSpace. Like you can sit the solar system down in your classroom, for example, or there's tons of science related objects, and then a lot of things like how things work. Like you can look up how a lock works, lots of different content. For this particular one, I just wanted them to experience Gutenberg's printing press. So I sort of directed them to open up this particular jig. And they opened it up and they sat it down, and they were free to explore for a few minutes. And JigSpace is really nice because it also has narrated content. So they're not only getting to see it and move it and watch it and interact with it, but they're also getting to read that content down at the bottom that explains and gives information about it.
Oh, how cool is that? Okay, what's our fourth?
Okay, then another app that I've been using a lot it's called Quiver. And what it does is you color, it gives you like a worksheet, and you can color it, and then you view it through your iPad with the Quiver app, and it turns that two-dimensional shape that was on your paper into a three-dimensional form. So, for example, when we were celebrating International Dot Day in the art room with kindergarten and first grade, we designed a dot, and then we used Quiver to look through the iPads, and it transformed our two-dimensional circle into a three-dimensional sphere, which opened up a lot of good opportunities for conversations, comparing and contrasting 2D versus 3D.
That's very cool.
Yes, and Quiver has a lot of content available. They have animal and plant cells. They have lots of geometric shapes and things like that students can explore and interact with.
Fun. Okay. What's our fifth? And if we get through it, we'll also get a bonus, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
One where that I really love, it's called Free Rivers, and it was created by the World Wildlife Fund. And what this does, is that it sits down a landscape onto any flat surface that you have available. And the students can discover how their actions impact the environment around them. So, for example, they can sit down a hydropowered dam into a river. And if that's a bad place for the environment for that dam to be, then it's going to show the effects of that. I think it really gives them an opportunity to understand the impact of their decisions on the environment.
Oh, love it. Okay, what's our bonus?
Yes, the bonus one is Boulevard AR. And if you teach art, I think this is an incredibly powerful app. What it does is it takes a famous work of art, and it sits it down in your classroom, and students can walk around it. It's got narrated content. They can get up so close to the piece of artwork that they can see the brush strokes. It's incredible. And I think this is so powerful because as an art teacher, I would love to take my students to an art museum, but the closest art museum to us is 3.5 hours away.
Wow.
So there's no way that I can take them, on just a one school day field trip to, the closest art museum. But how powerful is it that I can take that art museum now and I can sit it down in my classroom, and we can explore and interact with that content right here in our classroom. And I think that's really powerful. And I think augmented reality is really going to transform our learning environments in the future.
Yeah, and you can actually get those kids a little closer to the art that they might let them in a museum, and you can take them to mini museums in one class period. So there's so many incredible things you can do. Lindsay, where do you get your augmented reality ideas?
I am just a big old nerd, Vicki, and I just search and I research, and I try to just come up with ways to tie and connect these apps to the content that I'm presenting these kids.
Fun. And you have a blog, right?
Yes, that's correct.
What's your blog?
I'm at iartwithlindsay.com. I have a blog, and then I also flip my classroom through that website. So my students actually use that website, and they go to the art lessons, and they can access demonstrations that they might need at a certain period of time. So, for example, when I was teaching my third graders to weave, I'm sure you can imagine having 28 kids in the classroom at one time trying to learn how to remove a weaving tapestry from a loom. And it's crazy when you have 25 of them. They all need that one-on-one time, that one-on-one instruction all at the same time. So what I did was I started taking video demonstrations of myself, and now they can kind of independently learn at a pace that's comfortable for them. And this doesn't completely replace me, but it allows me to give one-on-one attention to those kids who might struggle with fine motor and do need my help a little bit more.
It clones us. It frees us up to help more kids, which is just so awesome. Okay, so thank you, Lindsay, for our 5+ ways to use augmented reality in the classroom. And teachers, there's so many powerful things we can do. I mean, throw that Guten printing press in the middle of your classroom. Take a look at art. Do all of these different things and share your favorite augmented reality ideas. Are you into augmented reality? Let me know. I'd love to have you on the show too. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, Vicki.
Today's sponsor is Project Pals. Project Pals has a useful classroom collaborative platform that lets you create and manage projects for your students. Right now, my students are creating and managing a project as they're creating a podcast to record powerful stories from the recent storms in our area. Project Pals connects with Google Classroom, but also lets me see the detail on which students are contributing and participating. I also love the task board, which is a Trello-like Kanban board that lets students create, assign, and complete tasks. You can also link in Google Docs and do brainstorming and so much more. It's really a very powerful tool. I will be featuring this tool on my blog and newsletter this week. So go to projectpals.com. That's projectpals.com and sign up today.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.